They referred to it as a Zelver message, cruelty-prone dominion, clothed in formality, carried out their strategy with terrifying accuracy. 50,000 real women taken or kidnapped from colonial territories were collected from a variety of holding locations without prior notice. Each. When the galactic broadcast was taken over, what had been regular news was suddenly replaced. Thousands of women stood in silent terror on containment platforms beneath strange skies. Each screen was ready. Every transmission showed a distinct execution place, confined, encircled by armored Zelver. The charges were read aloud to the enforcers, pointless and hollow insubordination. Cultural pollution through penetration. There were no trials. Number. Appeals. Defense was merely a pre-written act. What followed was coordinated murder, captured from multiple angles, transmitted across alien networks to all corners of the galaxy. Viewers across the stars watched in discomfort. Most quickly turned away. A few species issued cautious comments. Others said nothing, afraid to tamper with the publication. The Galactic Council released a one-paragraph statement, acknowledging the incident without blame, without action. Despite Earth offering assistance, the reception was cold and practiced. But Earth didn't give up. Its cities, colonies, families, they all watched the fleets. Every second, public mourning broke down into something else. Outcry. Vigils, protests, urban streets were filled with light, candles, paintings, classrooms paused. Teachers taught memorials. The discomfort spread. But the rage spread faster. It wasn't just grief, it was certainty that something had to change. Kale understood. And he was going to make it happen. He requested an urgent hearing. The Galactic Council ignored it. Courteous, diplomatic silence. A language of delay. They believed Earth would behave. Before leaving, Kale passed through Earth's diplomatic archive. Walls of names lost to war and peace. That day a new panel was installed. Not names, just a carved number. 50,000. He paused there, alone, touched the cold stone. He didn't speak for the cameras. But his voice, low but firm, was for the world. One will speak on your behalf. And then I will. The Galactic Council chamber held representatives of 100 species, complex shields, status symbols. Some literally and politically looked down on Kale, but he walked to the center platform alone. Beneath bright lights, he began. 50,000 human women were killed, publicly on broadcast. No trial, no declaration of war. Executed under the guise of legality, because they were human, delegates murmured. Some fumbled with datapads. Few met his gaze. I stand here not to beg, not for pity, but for justice. The Zelver delegation didn't flinch. Their senior diplomat raised his chin. Unimpressed. Kale met his gaze, just for a second, then turned back to the room. Dominion called it punishment, and you allowed it, observed. No vote. No sanctions, no denouncement. A delegate from the Surreal Confederacy activated her mic. We acknowledge the losses. Diplomat but Earth has been involved in conflict near restricted zones. There are complexities. Kale didn't look at her. Genocide, he said quietly. Tension spread. Some species shifted in their chairs. Others remained quiet, not from agreement, but fear. Morality wasn't safe. It wasn't profitable, a thorn. Collective delegate spoke. You're a young, aggressive species, erratic. The Zelver were restoring order. Kale turned toward him. Our female delegate was chaos? The delegate stumbled, looking down. You fear us, Kale said. Not because we threaten you, but because we remember, when we lose, we don't look away. We don't numb ourselves. With procedure, more murmurs. Talk of legal process. Of patience. Kale stepped forward. We've been called many things in this room. Primitive, reactionary, unstable, but never silent. And we won't start today. The Zelver diplomat activated his console, his voice sudden and sharp. You are wrong. The women were in militarized settlements. Their deaths, sadly, were operational requirements. Kale didn't respond. Not. To him, he looked to the chamber. Is that the new norm? Extermination is regrettable, but fair, if explained? When power kills, you offer explanation, not condemnation. No one answered. You fear war with the Zelver, Kale said. You'll trade anything to maintain peace. Even life. Even truth. You label Earth aggressive to avoid calling evil. Evil, his voice dropped, quieter but sharper. This wasn't politics, it was fear. You convinced yourselves justice takes time, when calm is currency, but I didn't come to beg tyrants. I came to speak against your silence. He turned off his translator. A violation of council protocol. Then said in Earth standard and filtered, if you do not act, we will. If you won't name the crime, history will. Then he walked out. No applause. No arguments. Just silence, the kind that stings. The kind that stays. Within a day, Earth shut down all diplomatic channels. Ambassadors recalled, treaties suspended. Commerce stopped. In Earth. Didn't wait. Resolution 9 passed. Zelver Dominion was declared an outlaw genocidal regime, and anyone who traded with them was complicit. Human fleets repositioned. Patrols tightened. Intelligence ramped up. Agents moved silently. No announcements. Just interference, disruption, justice. Implemented in silence. Kale Ree led the Human Emergency Accord. Military, diplomatic, unified. He didn't want titles. He wanted action. And Earth delivered it. Some species quietly sent envoys, seeking clarity. Was war coming? Kale's answer was simple. We are not planning war. We are planning what comes after. Border colonies not connected to Earth raised their voices in support. Not for power, but for principle. The Zelver laughed, mocked Earth and media, called the executions necessary, cleansing, and by doing so, they verified every accusation. Charge. But what really unsettled the galaxy wasn't the rhetoric. It was the quiet humanity. Didn't respond with outrage. It responded with accuracy. The advanced science of the Dominion fell. Cryo 6's facilities collapsed. A Zelver listening station near. The neutral threshold suffered a total system failure. Unknown infiltration was reported. No communications. No proof. No fingerprints. Only authorized activities, categorized as above highest command. Earth's retaliation never escalated with bluster. Every response was legally framed within wartime customs and carried out without warning. Each interruption, each strike, reinforced the same message. They weren't fixing the disparity in power. They were honoring the memory. They were taking action. Not with mourning. But with motion. The relatives of the deceased weren't just given scholarships. They were given monuments, colonial advantages, representation. Within the assembly. The number 50,000 was no longer mourned. It became a mandate. Earth was swamped with volunteers, civil servants, recruits, for defense programs doubled. And in isolated areas, the deceased became martyrs. Meanwhile, Kale Ree stayed out of the spotlight. Quiet. Focused. Relentless. He reviewed every Zelver broadcast. Every council transcript. Mapped patterns of known sympathizers. He recorded every detail. There would be no World War. No emotional overflow. Only consequences. He gave one silent order never disclosed to the public. Each and every person known to be involved, from commanding officers to broadcast technicians, was to be catalogued. Observed. Not for vengeance, but for trial. We will not kill for catharsis. The declaration read, we will hold them accountable. Documented. Before every species that watched and said nothing. It was no longer about revenge. It was about legacy. Beneath the surface, behind military action and diplomacy, a message was taking shape. Even a politically besieged, outnumbered species could demand moral order. The galaxy waited for Earth to declare its breaking point. It never came, because Earth wouldn't declare it. It would arrive in silence. The Galactic Council called for an emergency summit. Not to discipline the Zelver, but to address Earth's growing defiance. The narrative was changing. Human retaliation was now instability. Delegates who once sat in silence now warned of Earth's leadership. More dangerous than the savagery of the Zelver was the example Earth had set. One species had bypassed council inertia, and others might follow. Kale Ree declined to attend. Sent a message through secured diplomatic channels. 10 words. If fairness offends you, the message of peace was never true. It spread faster than any council memo. It was printed on banners, whispered in protest. It divided the stars between those afraid of change and those who saw Earth as a mirror. Zelver influence started to fracture. Not from battle, but from information. Leaks. Curated, verified, published anonymously. Packets of silent coercion. Forced disappearances. Council members tied to hidden pacts. Cover-ups. None of it traced back to Earth. But everyone knew. Credibility collapsed. Petitions erupted. Civil unrest grew. Earth never made speeches. It moved. Deliberately. Precisely. The galaxy watched as the council rotted in plain sight. Then came the moment. A small, neutral species, the Dravi declared. The executions, a racial atrocity. No military. No power, just truth, they cited. Earth's refusal to abandon principle and followed that path themselves. It triggered a ripple, a reckoning. Kale remained buried in his task. He led the tribunal initiative, a joint intelligence and legal effort. Their aim, to find the perpetrators. To try them, not with vigilantes, but under interstellar law. The council scoffed, claimed it had no foundation. Spectators were split, condemn Earth, or cooperate. Earth invited all to the first hearing. Their target, Arzakvan, Zelver broadcast director responsible for airing the executions, caught during an off-world transaction handed over by non-human workers. He was granted full rights. His trial, broadcast across dozens of languages. No coercion, overwhelming evidence. His defense, tradition. Obligation. Obedience. The ruling, guilty. He was imprisonment. No torture. No death. Just justice. The shockwave wasn't the severity. It was the precision, the restraint. Earth had done something the council never could. Law, not war. Truth, not trauma. Even critics couldn't deny it. It became a precedent.